Oh my God, we on? Okay, I can't see because Ted's over there in my spot. Oh, you're the one that can see. I can't see.
Do you want to switch?
No, we just can't do it. I quit.
Here,
I'm walking.
Here's a table.
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy. 4 nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy's Dave, and I'm joined by
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarchy's Ted.
So how's everybody's Saturday going? We have intern Kyle manning the helm over here, so that's good.
Intern Joker.
Yeah, intern Joker today. He's in full regalia for Geek Fest, which has not made it over there yet, but an appearance I hear could happen. So we got some gaming going on this week. We have Session Zero's going on this week.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of D&D going on.
Really entertaining Session Zero.
Very busy week.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Nelson's game on Wednesday?
I had a blast. It was fun.
Yeah,
I'm glad his internet was much better than the first time we ran with him. Well, the hilarious thing too is everyone commented, including us, about the nimbus of light, because because I guess he doesn't have curtains or shades or whatever on the window behind him, so it all just comes in behind him. So it looked like he had his bed or something up against the window, blocking most of the light.
So it was amusing because the first video, huge amounts of light, and he is just this speaking shadow. So that was pretty amusing.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was on the witness protection program or something, but turns out
I just thought it was his paladin aura or something.
So the game was a lot of fun. I've played it before, and here's the thing: Nelson is a friggin' awesome GM. I wish he was like one of my regular GMs. Mm-hmm. He's so good when it comes to doing the voices and letting players do what they want to do, and he just goes with it and has fun.
I've enjoyed both being a fellow player with Nelson as well as being games that he's run. He's great to have in any group.
He's always super entertaining, and he's just a cool dude to hang out with and talk to online. I mean, we have to actually. I keep saying we have to actually figure out how to hang out with him in real life at some point because he's not that far.
Right, we have to actually.
He's only over the bridge in New York, so he's within a couple hours. It's not bad in a global world.
Right. I think we have to go to him though. I think there's something wonky going on.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not that far. So there was that. We had our Session Zero. I don't know. Any of you guys check out that Session Zero for our Open Legend game? We were going to need to name the world and come up with some things. In my mind, I'm affectionately referring it to as Feisteronia, but Brian Feaster might not like that.
Well, you've named the world after me in my own game. It's kind of cool and kind of strange.
It's kind of weird. You're creeping me out. He does have a very, very gorgeous beard, though. I have beard envy when I'm in the same room with Brian. Like, look at it, it's magnificent.
Beardonia?
Yeah. All right, I get a little weird around spectacular beards. What can I say? We all have our thing.
It's the dwarf in you.
It must be. I don't know it might be a spoiler, guys, if you haven't seen the Beauty and the Beast movie. But at the end, Bella asks him to grow a beard. My wife is not a fan of the beard. I'm saying, even princesses love the beard. You must love the beard.
Prince Charming is always clean shaven.
Screw that guy. He's a douche.
That's because he didn't have to travel hard enough to find the princess.
He didn't work hard enough.
Yeah, you got to grow a beard otherwise.
You got anybody in the chat? Anybody watching? Are we talking to ourselves?
No, thankfully we're not talking to ourselves. We got a bunch of people chiming in. Doug and Megan are actually here.
Staff writer Doug, staff writer Megan.
Yeah, those guys freaking live on the internet, I think.
Well, Doug works from home, so I think it's kind of part and parcel with it.
Yeah, they both do. Sometimes you just got to go outside and breathe the fresh air.
Outside with your laptop.
Yeah. And an extension cord.
I don't have a kind of constitution for that.
Outside, isn't that where that weather is?
Oh, no. Not the weather.
So we also have Nick Louvier chimed in. He says he's actually in the middle of making some dungeon dials.
Cool. Monday we were supposed to have on DM Scotty, but his eyeballs exploded. They had to put in cybernetic ones, and he's adjusting to them. So
he's beginning the board process.
I believe so. Yeah, he's had some issues going on with his eyes with tears and shit like that. Hopefully, we're wishing him a speedy recovery. And I know, coming on the show is probably the least of his worries. So I saw the post about him having to go for surgery. I'm like, I don't think he's going to make it. And I'm like, and it also means he's got this weird thing where he's got to lay face down and stuff during the recovery process. And so I'm like, well, he's not going online. I'm like, I'm not going to even be able to confirmed that he's not going to be there, which I can't imagine he would be. Like his eyeballs exploded, stuff. I wouldn't be doing this if my eyeballs exploded. Not on someone else's channel anyway. Maybe on mine.
You didn't have a handler?
No, well, apparently, no, his wife did jump in and handle it for him. So yeah, so he does have a handler. PM Scotty's my hero. So
PM Scotty's vids are awesome.
But we do have. Man, I'm gonna mess up his name. He's got a podcast, Lex. I'm gonna say Skywalker, but I'm not entirely sure. And he does a lot of geeky stuff. He's
that Lex with 2 X's, I think.
I don't know if it is, but he does a podcast. He's interacted with us before. He's a fan. And he's got like a product that he just put together and put out, an adventure or something. I was like, hey, you want to come on and talk about it? Short notice. So I was like, yeah. Oh, and Tuesday we have some guests coming on too. You guys may have heard of them before. I am not entirely sure. WebDM is going to make an appearance.
I have heard of them.
That's great.
So we got Jonathan and Jim. They're going to be on.
They've the fans have been asking for WebDM for a while. So.
Yeah. So we were able to manage to make that happen thanks to Travis. That's our guy that handles all the production behind the scenes and everything. So that's really cool. They're going to come on. I want to hear the story of how. I want to hear the origin story of WebDM. So we're also talking about some other kind of team ups with WebDM too, and maybe some other really big YouTube channels that I'm kind of excited about. I got to figure out how to make things happen, but we want to do some things, guys. If like WebDM and Dawnforge Cast and DM Scotty and some of the other really big channels that no, not Matt Mercer, guys. But yeah, us guys, right?
Not Matt Mercer. People that requested, right? Let's clarify that.
No, this isn't in general. Would you guys be into a convention like that? Would be something would get you guys excited to go hang out with like us mid-level YouTubers? We're not Critical Role, but we also have more than 2 subscribers. I'm thinking if we could put together like 5 channels like that, we could do something really cool. It'd be fun. Just a thought.
So the 19th, I hear you have TPK games coming on.
I do, Ryan Berg.
Yep.
And it turns out one of our staff writers did a review of his latest product.
Indeed.
And I saw that after I had invited him on, and I was like, "Hey, by the way, one of our staff writers wrote a thing about your stuff.
Yeah,
I hope it's good. I hope your product's good, and I hope the review is good." And it was very fair. I was like, "These things could be a problem. These things are fun. Don't do it all at once, or your game is fucked." So there was some good stuff in there.
I talked to him, pretty regularly over Facebook, and he had passed along the file to say, "Hey, would you guys like to review this?" I passed it along to Ty, and he passed it along to the authors, and Megan apparently got the turn to.
Yeah, she put it in her game too. She ran like 2 different games with that stuff in it.
Nice.
So and the takeaway from that was not such a big deal at like 4th level, huge deal at 20th level, and when you just like shotgun blanket open it up to everything. You guys can actually go on. The link is in the description somewhere. Just keep scrolling.
And speaking of our writers and games, our writers, several of them got together and they wrote a adventure. I want to say Arbor Jade.
I want to say Arbor Jade.
I was like, it's not Amber Jade. It's not Amber Jade. It's Arbor Jade. There.
Yeah. Megan, Doug,
for Tabletop Day.
Scott, Nigel. Is it just the 4 of them? And Joshua.
Yeah.
And Joshua contributed as well. There's actually a link to the webpage, the article Scott wrote about it. But at the very top, I actually have just the PDF. You guys can go download it. Those guys donated their time to do that in addition to all the writing they do for us. And, I think some of them, did the art and had some donated art. I will say the art is not fantastic. Be kind, people. These are volunteers, and it's hard to get.
For the price, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Be kind, folks. Be kind. But yeah, no, we super appreciate the fact that they donated the work and put their blood, sweat, and tears into that. And they've been working on it for the past month or 2. And there's some cool things in there. There's definitely some a couple things that I thought were really cool that they did. You guys should definitely check it out. And for the price, I don't think you can go wrong.
I agree.
But that was definitely one of the things we wanted to mention. One of the other things was my game is coming up end of the month. We have to send the email out still, but it's going to be a 12th level game. And the most important thing is, Valhalla awaits, you're basically on the cusp of getting into Valhalla, but something went wrong, something happened. Either your final death was not good enough, or the way you lived prior to that final death was actually redeeming enough to give you a shot of still getting in. But you guys, we're going to open that game with you guys telling me why, why Valhalla waits. For you. You're gonna have to describe your death scene, and if you can't do that, let me know because I'll find somebody else. It should be awesome. One of the most awesome things about playing D&D or tabletop role and play games is when your character finally dies and the DM's like, "Tell me how it happened." And in this, like, you can get to make up all the pieces, So
and you still get to play your character,
and you still get to play your character too. So I think it should be fun. I would have fun. That's just me.
Sounds exciting.
I'm excited.
And where can they get if they're on the list of people? Well, you're going to email them.
Yes,
but we also announced it
last week.
Yeah, yes. We announced it last week. The email is going to be going out to whoever is interested in playing that game, and if you're on the list, if the stars all line up, Valhalla waits. So that should be a lot of fun. How many people we got on watch it? 7.
Last I checked was 15, but I'm sure we have many more than that now.
It says it right in the broadcast.
24
right now. All right.
There must all be a Kickstarter waiting for Kyle to be
Yeah, right. Everybody's waiting for
maybe.
us.
I want to see the Joker.
They're Eastering.
Well, yeah, it is the Saturday in between Good Friday and Easter, so a lot of
I would think people
occupied.
are traveling.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know if you guys have found the correlation, because we don't always bring it up with the title of our live chats for the weekly wrap, the Q&As. But there is always a theme, whether you can see it or not. Like last week was Adventure Leads at the Party. It's because Ryan, had left us. Wah, wah, wah. And generally isn't really about gaming. It's just about something that's going on with Nerdarchy in our lives, and we just like to use gaming terms. So I'm going to get into this week's, enter the Beggar King, right? What is that about? Well, basically, YouTube is kind of screwing everybody. It's not really YouTube. It's the advertisers with YouTube. And they've pulled a lot of advertising. So we've seen like a 20 to 30% drop in revenue over the past couple of weeks, which is very scary for the guy who just told his boss he wasn't coming back to work.
Yes.
Even scarier for the guy who is telling his wife, "I'm not going back to work." Yeah. So listen, guys. If you're enjoying all the live chats we're doing during the week, all the extra content we've added, and what we do here, we could definitely use your help over on the Patreon. $1 to $2 a month. That's all we're asking. And for that, you get to take part in all the polls we're doing. We're doing a ton of interaction over there. Ted's been spearheading that. When we have guests like WebDM, your questions go first. Even if you're only at that dollar level, I'm going to put up a post over there. You guys can ask your questions on it, and I'm going to ask those first before going to the chats. We just put together a deal with the Chartopia people for hidden exclusive charts for Nerdarchy. So we have to figure out exactly what that means, but it's going to be content in addition to what we're already doing, and you guys are going to get it, and no one else is going to have access to it. Right.
In theory. It is the internet, of course. And those things we're just doing if you happen to be a patron. Not only that, you're still going to get to be entered into our raffles for the giveaways automatically. You don't have to do anything. The rest of you have to go to the website and follow the hoops and jump through the steps.
Click 2 things and fill out.
If you're on, mail it.
Mail it.
If you're in the Nerdarchy newsletter and a patron, that's 2 chances per month of getting into the live games with us that we run once a month. So lots of different little nuance of things that you can do.
I was going to dress my kids up in rags and bring them on the show today, but the other guy said that would be tacky and unacceptable. So
David appears on camera, for gameplays. I don't know how.
Why is his hair all done up nice and he's dressed well for the games? Where does rags go? But that's it. That's my pitch, guys. If you appreciate what we do and you feel we add value, and when it continues, see the live chats continue. $1 or $2 a month would go a long way. There's a lot of you guys out there, so we implore you, help us out until we can figure out some other things. All right, I'm done panhandling the internet.
All right, so
exit the Beggar King.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw this out there. If you guys want to do a roll call, shout out where you are. There's not all that many of you. I want all of you to respond. Where are we at?
Yeah, there's a delay. It's going to take them a couple minutes for it to come
Oh, I
through.
know, but we gotta do it.
Well, we always do, unless I forget. Unless it's Matt Colville's on and there's not you can't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
So this Friday we're doing session 0.5 of your Open Legend game.
0.5. Yeah, I guess so.
Approaching 1.
Well, because we apparently, with an hour, we didn't quite cover everything. We spent a good 20 minutes talking about the sport that we're not going to play.
I think we were really close to it being a sports game.
Slice of life with Cthulhu alien things.
Did you mention that crazy insane game you played in last night?
I did not mention it. I was gonna get to it. Yes, last night I played a game. I called it the Mega Epic, game. Sam Caldwell or Ember Shade. He ran a game where you take 2 classes, level them both to 20, so you're a 40th level character, and you're someone who's out to save the world. We literally had a fight against 3 insane monsters that were, I think, somewhere around 600 hit points a piece, utterly crazy, and there were only 3 players. And
it was, it seems fair, like a fair fight to me, 1 versus 1.
Yes, with 5 attacks around, with plus 20 something to hit. Yeah, absolutely.
Was that them or you?
Oh, well, I had a plus 18, so I was ready to go.
Yeah.
But I think the monsters were even higher. So
how did Sam do?
I thought it was a great game. I felt that.
I'm sorry, so that was kind of a fucked up question. What if it sucked? You'd be like, it was horrible. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I thought it was a great game. I wish that when you have the scale that we were playing, that there could have been something in Dice Stream to auto tabulate dice, because there was literally a time where I was rolling 35d10.
Why didn't you just have Kyle there to do the math for you guys?
Well, Kyle doesn't live in my basement.
Kyle, why weren't you there? You failed epically.
35d10, 8d6, and 8d8 as my damage for the round.
I feel like you should have just thrown the dice at the monster at that point.
1.5 ton of dice.
It was pretty amusing. The creatures were like.
What's the most damage you did in a round?
I think it was.
Did you ever crit with that kind of a hit?
I crit with one of the attacks that I had. 7 die 10 going on to it, but nothing where I had the 14 die 10. Yeah. That would have been nice to be like, all right, I'm just gonna.
Drop down menu appear so you can get the rest of the dice.
Yeah, it would have been utterly crazy. But so that there was a lot of time was like, I'm sitting there counting, or that the barbarian was sitting there counting.
So was it a good fight for you guys?
The monsters were spec'd out to handle our weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
So at one point in time, the one monster lined up an attack on 2 of us to do a lightning bolt that got switched to a charisma saving throw. So I'm like,
it was a lore master monster.
so I'm like, now mind you, I'm a monk, so I'm proficient in all saves.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But we were using the standard array,
so there's a dump stat.
That I gotta have a dump stat, and I'm like, charisma's not gonna be needed. I'm not gonna talk these monsters to death. So,
but you did need to talk your way out of the way of that lightning bolt, which did not happen.
It did not happen. Thankfully, it was not a crazy, ridiculous, amount of damage, but the monsters could easily shell out, 160 damage around. And when you've only got 300 and some, as 2 of us did, it was bad.
Nice. Well, you don't want it to be like the Tarrasque game that was run where they just mopped the floor with the poor Tarrasque. You felt bad for him. You wanted to cuddle him afterwards.
Well, it was told us in the beginning, you have 20 rounds. If you don't beat these things by the time 20 rounds happen, that's it. The game's over. Now
you lose.
Yeah, we would lose. It was
something was happening.
They had captured the goddess Mystra.
Okay.
And she had apparently gone through a rebirthing cycle. So she was like a young teenager at that point in time, still new to her powers. So she was weakened to be able to have this happen. And the three adventurers were called from wherever we were. The one player played a fighter barbarian. He used a half orc as his race, but visually he wanted to be an earth elemental. So he's literally called from the depths of the earth itself, and he climbs out. And he actually had a really cool picture for what his character looked like. It was, really, really fun and interesting the way he did his stuff. I was a Ghostwise halfling monk mystic. So combining those two guys together wound up making for some very interesting abilities, and absolutely being able to just obliterate things. As I said, I did around 180 damage around.
All right, just give us the third character real quick, and we'll go to the roll call.
All right, the third character was a cleric wizard, and he was trying to focus on more the actual challenge of Mystra rather than combat the monsters. So it was really a 3-on-2.
Oh man, you threw him right under the bus. He's like,
he was dealing with this scenario.
We were hoping that if we freed Mystra, she would be able to use her magical might and help us defeat the monsters.
We tried the back door. And the DM was like, no. This is one of those counters you're fighting your way out of.
All right, so what do we got in the chat there, Kyle?
Roll call from Western Nebraska, Cincinnati, Ohio, Maine, Missouri, Ohio, again, Texas, Cleveland, Wisconsin, Berlin, New Jersey. Hey, they're close.
Hey,
Michael Schmidt
I was
there.
just in Berlin.
Central California, Hazelwood, Missouri, Edmonton, Alberta, Yavin 4, Bakersfield, California, Iowa, Indiana, Manhattan, New York,
Star Wars galaxies.
Southern California, England, just all of England, all of it.
He is everywhere in the UK.
But only in England.
Yeah, not the UK.
Missouri,
Oh.
Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, Appleton, Wisconsin, a lot of Wisconsin.
We're huge.
Yep, a lot of different people.
We're very cheesy. All over the world. And now the roll call will rekindle.
Yep,
Because that is
Buenos
what
Aires, Argentina,
Nice.
British Columbia, Canada.
That's 3 outside the US.
Yeah. Well, 2:00 in the afternoon is a little rougher. I think we hit the sweet spot at noon. Yeah, like we're
Yeah, it's
getting
easier
the
for-
night owls in other countries.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 o'clock at that point. In the Western Europe. Right.
But it's like in Australia, it's like 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning or something like that. Because from having Gareth on, because we've had on the daily live chats, we have had two international, as well as Australia. So that's kind of cool.
Nice.
And we got some more cool stuff coming up. I'm trying to think of who I got coming next week.
You mean the following?
No, next week.
We already talked about what's next week.
Yeah, no, there's more. I mentioned like 2 days.
I
Well,
thought,
then, are you doing this? You doing the Saturday morning game?
No, that's done with.
that was just a one shot.
Yeah.
We would like it to continue at some point in time.
And then Friday, right? So Friday's taken care of.
Yeah.
Because it's session 0.5.
Oh, I know. I know who I got coming. So Brian Berg, I believe, is Wednesday.
Okay.
And that's from Total Party Kill Games, so that should be fun. And then on Thursday, I got the Angry GM coming on. So Angry always brings a crowd. So we'll see. We'll see where his angry meter is for the day. Maybe we can give him like some espressos or something and get him amped up, and then give him some bad news or something beforehand to make him a little extra angry. Can we shake him beforehand? We need to send someone over to shake him. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. And I'm still booking for the following week, and then after that, I believe either the first or the second. I think it's on the Monday. Then we're going to have Satine Phoenix on, who is now doing the Game Master tips over on Geek and Sundry. So, and cool. she's also from Maze Arcana, as well as I Hit It With My Axe. So she's an awesome GM gamer. And at some point, I think we're probably also going to get Rudy on, who also is from Maze Arcana. Those two are kind of like partnered up on that. So we're running the games over there and doing all the stuff to make it work. So that's also really cool. So I don't know. We got people coming on.
Awesome.
No Matt Mercer yet, guys.
So just remember, if you're a patron, Dave puts out questions over on Patreon for these guests or puts out the notice that these guests are coming on. And if you have questions that you'd like asked, that's the place that he's going to grab them from, and we take those questions first.
Right. Yeah. And then once we get through those, then we go through and then we'll go to the live chat.
And that's also useful if you don't know if you're going to make the actual live chat itself.
Yeah.
It'll be on the internet.
Yeah. You can always catch the replay later.
So you can catch your question being
the Matt Colville one is like over 10,000 views on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even though like only 500 people watched live, but we had a ton of people watched it. I know they're all clicking, oh, Matt Colville, and they're like, oh, these Nerdarchy clowns. Oh, and we got a shout out from Shad.
I was going to actually bring that up.
Yeah,
which was friggin' awesome. And Greg on Twitter, I forget his Twitter handle, but he's like every time something happens, he's the guy. I'm like, what do you do? Like you just know everything. He's a Presan or however you say that. But like he always lets us know when the new Earth Arcana drops right away. He's like, hey, you guys got a shout out. A shout out on Shadiversity, which was really cool, and it wasn't like what he was talking about even pertained to what.
Well, it had to do with levels and
how
he doesn't like them.
Well, yeah, but pretty much it was just like the only correlation is we play a lot of D&D.
Yeah, he was talking about RPG trope stuff, and we were RPG.
He's like, hey, check out these guys. They're awesome. Their quality has gone up if you watch their recent videos, and I'm like.
Yeah, I know. You actually even noticed, and and when I started talking to Satine as well, I was just like, "Oh, I love your videos." I'm like, I like we get a lot of views and stuff, but still, it's still like a big deal to us when somebody that we kind of look up to is like, "Hey, I watch your stuff." I'm like, "Oh my god, you know I exist."
Yeah.
And it even gets a little weird when we do like meet fans and stuff like that. It's like even the idea that we have fans, like you guys, this whole experience has been crazy.
Yeah.
I've gotten to leave my job to do this full time. I mean, we might be living in a cardboard box soon, but
I'll teach you the best trees to eat.
Nice foraging, natural foraging.
But you still have no outside of things. No notices. No one's realized you're Nerdarchy Dave.
No, I'm not you, man.
I had a digital situation where one of my coworkers contacted me this week and was like, hey, I just started watching Nerdarchy videos. And I'm like, really?
Now, did you send them there? Or
no. He just contacted me out of the blue. He's one of the IT guys that I, once every 3 months talk to.
Huh.
And he's just like, hey. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I had a high school person that went to high school with me contact me through Facebook and like, you do videos?
No.
I think I've seen you on the internet.
No, you didn't.
I'm like, where did you see me on the internet?
Something happened last night. It actually delayed my Nerdarchy work, guys, and I was like in the middle of editing videos, and someone showed up. So, you guys hear us talk about our DM Steve from way back in the day. He showed up with his daughter's actually my godfather, but I haven't talked to those guys in a while.
You mean you're her godfather?
Yeah.
Okay. You said she's your godfather.
Yeah. Like that's a special circumstance.
Yeah, it is. So like he showed up with his wife and Gina and little Gina, and I'm like, oh my god, Gina's an adult now. So like, today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Gina! If you happen to be watching it, you're probably not. But Steve might catch it. But he's like, yeah, I've been following your stuff. It's cool. Blah blah blah. And I was like, wow, this is weird. The whole family had just come from getting tattoos, and and they just like knocked on my door. And then afterwards, I was thinking about it, and it's like, oh wait a minute, he said he's been following us and checking our videos, huh? I wonder if he caught any ones where we talk about his DMing style. I already thought about that.
We should have him on.
Well,
that would be cool.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been. No way, it's Steve. I bet he would run exactly the same. Death rolls.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, there is a charm to death rolls.
Yeah. He'd be like, "What? There's no."
I had a lot of fun.
He would flip test table. What? 5th edition? No death rolls.
No, he just would. All right, I'm running 5th edition. I'm still having death rolls.
You save or die.
It'd be like when you hit the ground, it's your first failed death save.
Yeah. Save or die. But it was charm person.
I haven't told you what he's going to tell you to do yet.
Yeah.
We do have a few things going down in the live chat. Currently, it looks like we have a bit of an intellectual property dispute. It's probably the friendliest one I've ever seen, though.
Oh,
Doug Vivek was asking how he should stream his game if the only camera he has is a phone. A lot of people were saying that like a microphone could be handy, and I believe Logan Johnson actually suggested just make it a podcast, audio, no video. Doug then thanked the wrong person, and some things arose, but they were very friendly about it. It was like I imagine this is what court cases look like in Canada. They're like, oh no, it's cool, you do it, that's fine.
well, I will say, Nerdarchy's original videos were shot on an iPhone with an external mic. So if you listen to them, they're really shitty, but that's how we did it. That's how we did it. And if you see like the best of clips I've been throwing up, they're all like taken from their original stuff.
Digitally remastered.
Yeah,
might not
minus
mean anything.
So, and also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been putting up our year one stuff over on SoundCloud, as MP3s, so you guys can check that out if you want. So we're trying to do more things. People had asked us about, doing a podcast or doing the audio files as well a long time ago. But as we mentioned earlier, YouTube is a huge part of our revenue, and that would really be like slitting our own throats. So if we're going to do that, we're going to do it on a video and then monetize it. so that is why. But so we found the middle ground is for us is we're just going to start taking the old stuff, and once a day I just throw it up on SoundCloud if you guys want to check it out. It sounds like shit. I listen to me and Ted talk. I'm like, oh my god, I hate us so much. I want to punch myself in the face. Like we don't even have our
critic.
I know we don't even have our call lines together yet, and like
nerd stuff.
Nerd stuff for nerds or nerd something. I don't know, fucking guys. It's awful, dude. If you want, I always want to like go back and do a riff track on ourselves.
Mr. Silence State of 2000 style.
Oh yeah. These guys, how'd they ever let them on the internet?
So for those of you who have been sticking around since the beginning,
Thank
you're
you.
awesome for putting up with us.
Thank you very much.
I can't believe you guys watched that shit.
Well, what is it? Like your first video is terrible, and then once you do 10, you realize how terrible it is, and then once you do a 50, you realize how bad the 10 was, and then once you do 1,000, the first 100, you're like, don't look at it.
Yeah.
So it goes.
So I do like 1,700 videos, and you'll be like, okay, Adam, I guess.
Yeah, and then you realize how bad the earlier ones were. Yeah.
Do 1,700 videos like us, and then you have people go, hey, you guys could you guys work on being more like Matt Colville? We don't talk fast enough.
Do you have any questions in the chat?
Let's see.
No, they just talk with themselves.
Yeah, pretty much we're all having our own conversation
All
over
right, that's
here.
fine. I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, they're here just to interact with each other. It's not about us. It's about them.
We're the white noise machine in the
Oh.
background, just adding some ambience.
While they're waiting for their person to respond and listening to what we have to say.
Yes.
All right.
Joe actually does have a question.
Oh, awesome.
He asked Dave, and I'm sure this could open up to Nate as well.
No, it's just Dave.
Just Dave then. All right.
No,
What
it's
would
only
you
when
play?
when Ted tries to chime in.
What would you play in the Mega Epic game if you had to pick two classes of 20
Oh,
level each?
if I would have played in that game, was there anything off limits?
He was trying to stick to as much core as possible because it was Nerdarchy. He says, like, well, I trust you doing the Mystic.
Oh yeah.
So I would imagine the same thing would apply to yourselves.
Yeah,
So-
I'd probably want to play a paladin something or other just because I really have it. Like, I mean, if you want to be really insane, well, I guess you can't smite beyond the 5th level spell slot, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, but if you went with some kind of mage, you could be doing it all day long.
Well,
But,
if we got a paladin cleric, would you go to
I
Any
honestly,
alignment restriction?
I don't think I would have min-maxed it. I would have probably did like a paladin bard or something for fun.
I would have asked if I could put in the 20th level class and separate it out and take it off and put it in Lich and see if that was acceptable.
Can I just be a lich?
So Archmage, Lich.
All right. So in the even in the snowflake game, you need to play the snowflake.
we never got to any of
Dancing upon the wind.
We never got to any of the backup characters. My backup character was a dragonborn sorcerer wizard. Wizard sorcerer. I combined two full caster classes because he had a protracted spellcasting list. Spell slot list.
You know what would have been fun to do, which would have been pretty badass, is to go Sorcerer Storm Cleric.
Oh, yeah.
That would have combined really nice. So Storm Sorcerer.
Yes.
And then go Storm Cleric
People
for
just be
Tempest.
flying everywhere.
Yeah, lightning all the things. And I was like, oh, they're immune to lightning.
Well, I think they were actually resistant to some kind of magic, because every time I did damage, she's like, is there any magic-y in there? I'm like, nope, it's all punch.
It's all my brain power and punch.
So it was pretty cool. But the ability to, in the Mystic, where you actually get resistance to the physical damages, doesn't, it's not magic, it's not silvered, it's just you get resistance to, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Like Barbarian.
Yeah. So that made it survivable for me, because it's like, all right, the first attack, he hits you 5 times. You take 168 points of damage. I'm like, ow, we're in round 1.
Oh, no.
I have 323 hit points at max.
And you just did a quarter because I have resistance.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see how this
How
is
many
going
hit
to
points
go.
did the Barbarian have? Do you know?
600 and something.
Wow.
Nice.
Because he maxed out con. So it's like, all right, I've got a 24 strength, a 24 con.
What kind of magic items did you guys have?
None.
Oh,
we were like
As you were.
So apparently, like when you got whisked away from wherever, like you were all on the can someplace. Like, oh man,
It's like, your normal epic heroes, you got nothing.
Well, could have gotten really insane if you were allowed to even choose like a couple crazy magic items.
Did anybody get dropped?
No.
Yeah, disappointed.
I mean, it was close. Had we made some tactical situations, it could have been even easier.
Right.
Had we made poor tactical situations, it could have gone really bad. I thought it was worthwhile to not stay next to the thing, so that he would just not keep drilling into me. So with the ability to fly and move 70 every round, it's pretty easy to get in and out.
Makes sense. But apparently they had some kind of ranged attack, so it wasn't like...
Yes, their psychic attacks were ranged, but I think that they were limited. Something that would have to take a recharge.
Okay. They're totally off topic, but I'm kind of jealous. Brian Stillman's down at Celebration in Disney World right now for Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
I keep seeing him come up in my feed.
So this awesome thing that you're not doing.
Yeah,
right
then
now.
there was this like weird picture with one guy on another guy's back, shirtless or something, and I'm like, is somebody Jedi training here? What's going on? He's like, there was drinking, there was gambling, things happened.
We tried to float some rocks.
Yeah. No.
So for those of you who aren't attached to the internet, the trailer for The Last Jedi and Thor Ragnarok are out there.
Oh yeah, both of them look so good. Especially the Thor.
I had to watch the Thor one 3 times.
I did too. My sister's charging because I did it right next to her. I'm like, no, look, Thor. She's like, I heard he cut his hair. He did, but look, not this part.
Yeah, Beth was sad when
With
they
the
showed
haircut.
the
Yeah,
haircut. But when he flipped down the helmet, I'm like, yes!
yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was such a good trailer. I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah, I
love Star Wars, but I'm more excited about that one.
Yeah, and the other 2 Thor movies, while I enjoyed them and I thought they were good, I don't think they were as good as the other MCU stuff, where it looks like Ragnarok is they're like going for redemption.
I had no problem with the first Thor. The second one, like it hit me as the bad sequel when they're like, in the beginning, because there's so much rich history in the Marvel universe that it's like, oh, there's this stuff that we didn't talk about before, but because it's important now, we have to tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it was a good movie.
Oh, like an info dump?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's cool. It just wasn't as good as the first one, but I'm really excited for the third one.
Yeah, they're wrapping in the World War Hulk in there, or Planet Hulk, I should say.
Hulk, yeah.
So yeah, that looks
We're
like
friends for work.
yeah, and then he gets the look like, oh, man, I've been there before.
I don't know. Giddy with excitement.
I know, and then it's like November, really, and November and December. I'm like, oh well, Guardians of the Galaxy's coming.
Yes, that one's
Just have to go to that one.
Yeah. So that's
my kids are super excited about that one as well.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Yeah, the second one looks even better than the first one.
I think so as well.
So more characters, more stuff going on. Yeah. The group, absolutely. The group trailers are freaking amazing.
Teddy and Gabrielle had to watch that one over and over again.
I don't blame them. I think I watched it a couple times too. No! Crying group. Vin Diesel's best speaking part ever. How much time we got left, pal?
We got about 15, maybe closer to 20.
Do we have questions? I see a lot of text.
Yeah,
so
we got a few.
be.
We got a few. A lot of
All
this is internal talking.
Or tell us let us cut in on their conversation.
Gotcha. We're going to intrude
Do
on
a
their
handstand
conversations.
and we'll know that there's a question. in the
Gotcha.
chat.
All right, I can do that. Well, we do have a little bit of demand from Matthew Aubrey for the Nerdarchy Goblin plushie. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that sounds
that'd be
pretty
cool.
awesome.
We're Nerdarchy is going to probably launch a Kickstarter before too long. We are in negotiations and talks with another party about Nerdarchy branded dice trays, cups, bags, like I don't know if you guys seen the Wolverine ones from Easy Roller Dice that are reversible. Dude, I would love to have one of them with the emblem on one side and the goblin on the other. It would be a lot of fun.
Really cool.
Would you guys be interested in that? Should we waste our time with that or what?
While they answer, we also have a question from Donnie Buckman. How do you front load information about the terrain without giving away the most advantageous positions for your PCs?
Got to give them a lot of information and say it like it's not a big deal.
So the way I would do it is like, okay, if you're talking about a forest, you're in a forest. As it tends, you give enough information, and then if players are looking for something specific, allow them to ask questions. And if it's going to make the game more enjoyable, then the answer should just be yes. Oh, is there something to hide behind? Yes.
Or is it like from the standpoint, this is a trap? Like we know they're going to use it. I know the DM's going to use it against us. We're going into a box canyon.
Well,
like, there's things like that too.
Well, okay, all right. You're going to go into a ravine, and there's no easy way out. If your players don't fly once you've started walking into it, well, you know what? It's probably going to be a trap. But
so here's the other thing. One of the things you can do is make sure you're describing terrain and stuff when nothing's going on.
Yes.
You have to intermittently describe it, because when you do describe it, the players are going, boom, game mode, it's on. We know we're going to be grabbing initiative dice soon. Something's attacking us. Something's going to happen. If you don't give them the false positives, then they're always just going to know, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So you're just going to have to do descriptive things throughout, especially if it's wilderness travel.
The other thing that you can do is call for, I don't want to say meaningless checks, but call for checks when there isn't combat. You can throw them a bone of, okay, well, if they roll high enough on their perception check, okay, they might notice this, this rare thing, or this. If they make a nature check or whatever, oh well, this is a particular kind of rare vegetation or whatever have you.
I would add to that, like, never do pointless checks. It's like a waste of everybody's time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not
it has
pointless.
to mean something.
Yes,
Yeah.
have it be something. But if you're making perception check when there isn't a chance of combat, then perception check does not mean I'm going into combat, succeed or fail.
So, yeah, but see, you have passive perception, so really you shouldn't be making any perception checks. But what I would say is instead they could make knowledge checks or wilderness checks or other checks for interesting features that pop up. And
right.
The only thing with that is you have to cut your players down and be like, no, like only the person I asked for the check can give me one, because I hate it when everyone's like, can I check? And Ryan's horrible for that too. He's like, I want to make a check, and I'm like, well, even if you like, and it's one of the things about 5th edition is like anybody can make the check, and even if you're not proficient in the skill, but I feel like some skills you really should be proficient in order to have information about it.
Well, otherwise everyone's rolling Arcana and like the wizard misses it, but
and 7 players,
urchin is like, oh, I figured it out.
7 players rolling a d20, someone's going to crit. So
someone's going to roll high.
Yeah, get a 15 plus, and they might have.
And like, because it's D&D, like if someone rolls a 20, you feel like something good's got to happen. Although I don't think there really is technically critting when it comes to skills, but we're nerds.
Right.
So another thing, going along with the idea of like describing things when combat's going on, you can also have things that kind of get in the way of the journey without having it be monsters. So like a rotten tree has fallen down, and you're taking a wagon train. Well, the fighter's like, oh, I'm just going to move out of the way because I'm buff. And he moves.
And they're going to expect the ambush.
And they're going to expect the ambush. But really, it was a naturally fallen down tree, and it's got some kind of stinging rock grubs in it. So if the ranger had been closer, he would have noticed that it rotted from these rock grubs that sting you upon touching their little home. So the fighter moves in, he gets stung by a whole bunch of rock grubs. He takes a couple damage, but it's more like a nuisance because they're very aggressive. So they start going towards the horses. Maybe someone's got to do animal handling checks. So it becomes more of a skill. How are we going to avoid this area? But it's not just like jump over this thing, go through this.
You're definitely not playing AD&D if they're stinging you, rock grubs. You'd be like, oh no, you're dead in 3 rounds.
They're rock grubs because they rot the tree.
Yeah.
They don't eat people.
They're grubs, not rot.
But at the same time, every once in a while, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do natural hazards that aren't anything too. Or every time you put one in, okay, we're not going near it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to turn this deadfall into an hour thing every time.
There is that problem, yeah.
If you don't occasionally go, oh, you just move it out of the way.
Yeah.
And so you definitely need to get some of that in there.
Not everything having a hidden danger means everything goes slower.
Yes.
Indeed.
In one of my adventures, I put my trap a little too far ahead. Like I extended the trap to make it more difficult, and then it took like 3 times longer than it normally would take to get to the stinging trap.
You're like, never again.
They're going like a foot.
They're
like getting a foot at a time.
Yeah. Never again. I just blast them with psychic energy right from the get-go.
All right, what else you got for us, Kyle?
Right now we have some talking about D&D-izing Groot. Some people are saying that you should actually use a blight as a player race.
No. There's a ranger for that.
He can temporarily turn into one.
What's that?
He can temporarily turn into one.
Yeah, you gotta turn into a tree. Yeah, it'd be hard to make him, make an actual Groot because let's face it, he's a friggin' Trent.
Yeah,
and if you look at the stuff that he's actually done, he's basically turned into the ball. He's got like elongation powers. It's a superhero movie. He kind of does whatever they need him to do. He comes back from the dead if necessary.
we just make him using some masterminds. We can't D&D has him.
Maybe I don't even think you could do him in there though.
I think you could.
Well, with a PL20.
Open legend probably.
You
make him an open legend.
Well, yeah, any of those open-ended systems you can. It's just they would be so ridiculously powerful. Because it's a story. Like they do whatever the story needs them to do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be challenging to play at the table because you'd literally be like, all right, I say this, and somebody else has to interpret.
I say I am Groot. Yeah,
but it's how he says it.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is, like the interviews with Vin Diesel is like they made him do the readings over and over again, like because he wasn't getting the I am Groot right. So, and I think what they did is they gave him the actual what it was, and then he would have to try and figure out how that would come out as I am Groot.
You have one line, but really you have 1,000 lines.
But really, what I think they were doing is just trolling him.
How many times can I say this 3-word phrase?
How many different ways?
What we didn't tell him is we went with take one.
Every time.
That's evil.
I said they were trolling him.
We actually do have a few people discussing backstories for players. How do you guys feel about an amnesia backstory? It's not that the player was lazy, but they just said, I want you to give me a backstory and I have to piece it together, but I don't know what it is.
It's okay It's okay once in a while as long as the player and the DM are on board for it. I've done it once, and I think it was done at the same time that someone else wanted to do the same thing, so it was kind of weird.
Our friend Jim did the DM the game in which we didn't know who we were.
Right. Well,
we were always discovering powers and stuff. But you're talking about more like I'm a fighter, but I don't remember what happened like last week and before that.
Well, it looks like they're going with an Asimar child psionic as their
character.
So maybe the psionic, the whole brain powers that could interfere with memory.
Or like they became a blank slate.
Could be.
Well, obviously, like if you're just doing it and the DM's figuring it out, you don't even have to worry about it. You're like, and you just piece it together. I mean, it can be fun, as long as everyone at the table is not doing it, and it's not like something that happens in your game all the time. Fine, go with it. Something different.
There's usually enough discovery in a game to keep you going, but if you find that that's amusing and it's like, well, I have this concept and I want to just run with it, then. And the DM's on board. Go for it.
So there's a few things that I think an amnesiac character can benefit from roleplay-wise. and that is previous friends that they have no clue who these people are, and interact with them as if they're friends. Past love interests, maybe children, maybe parents, kind of people from their past kind of interacting with them.
A journal.
Pieces you could get, I guess, journal pieces, or
I was being facetious, but yeah.
Well, no, like basically there's going to be people, unless he's like far flung someplace, like he woke up in some other dimension or something, he's probably going to interact with the people that previously knew him at some point. Whether it's a person that went off to do, his older brother who went off to do guard duty someplace in another town for money, and he meets them on the adventure, and he's like weirded out because his brother doesn't recognize him, that kind of stuff. And also maybe you probably made somebody mad.
And you find out your brother's a real dick, and he's like, "You owe me money." You never really owe him money.
And you're like, "Oh man, I don't know. I guess
How do I owe so many people money?"
Yeah, everyone I meet that knew me previously says I owe them money. I must have been a bum.
Staff writer Megan says you have to run a session that's basically The Hangover.
Oh yeah. Well, we've talked about that in the past too.
Yeah. Well, that would be with everybody. We're just talking about one single character that's got an issue.
It's Hangover Light.
Hangover Light.
Yeah.
And it would be beneficial if nobody knew the person in the group. I would say that's better for the amnesic character, is to not have anybody that they can fall back on within the actual group.
Yeah, because that would put onus on another player at the table
To figure stuff out.
To figure stuff out, and that's not cool.
Then I feel like it kind of makes it easy, because the person can just
cheating.
inform you how your character has been.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Nate. It's cheating.
It makes it easy.
We have another interesting concept for how to run your game. If you have a warlock, you actually, as the DM, always play the patron. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, you would, because he's the NPC.
Well, no, not just playing the NPC. You yourself never, I mean, like, of course, I'm sure you could actually do the voices of other NPCs, but you never stand back to do the omniscient DM standpoint. You're always guiding them from the
whole
patron
group.
standpoint.
So basically, it's a Saturday morning cartoon, Dungeons and Dragons, and the dungeon master is the patron. You could. I mean, it depends on the group. It might actually be putting too much spotlight on one character, though. If like you're the patron, unless they're all warlocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if they're all warlocks in class?
Yeah, or
Sounds
maybe
boring.
a paladin of a particular cult or something. So, like, if you've got religious-based or people that are going to, in some way, be bound, even if it was like a fighter that, got into a contract with this, and that's just like what it is. Like, they could all be bound to that person. Almost like, this is, but how patron, separated from the warlock, you have the patron of the group. Sometimes gives them quests and things, but it could just be a rich merchant or something, or like a local constabulary guy, or like a politician. Could be a person that funds you a little money and also gives you insight into things.
So
just like that, but
one of the
Cult
dangers
based.
I see though is the DM player character. That is like, that's the abuse I'd be concerned about.
I want you to go do this because I'm the DM, so I'm going to tell the patron is going to tell you need to do this.
Well, no, they're using that person, that patron, to play in the game as a player.
Oh.
Instead of any
Yeah.
other NPC, which I don't know. I just have a problem with it. I hate it. Guys, play whatever you want in your game. Megan and Sam were telling me, because Sam had just started running her own games and DMing, and they basically talked about using the DM player character. I'm like, I hate it so much. Maybe it's the old grognard in me.
Well, I mean, if you're the patron, I don't see that being. And the thing is, if you're twisting the arm of the people too. If it's a warlock and you're just playing the patron most of the time.
Yeah, but the way it sounds is like they want the patron in the game all the time. And I don't think that's
you
good.
get the Elminster problem where he just comes in and tells you what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, when he could have just fixed it himself, you
Yeah.
lazy bastard.
How about
Geezer.
you come down here and get this job done? You can go do something.
So, I think it's a case of too much of a good thing, is what I would sum that up as. That's just my opinion. Guys, run your games how you like. We got nothing.
Got nothing. We're
gonna
all
go home.
discussing the
Let's go get a
warlocks.
beer.
Pretty much.
It's all right. But
Got a few more appearances. Scott and Art Wood actually managed to chime in for a moment here.
hey, and also, guys, if you weren't here earlier, remember to go check out Arbor Jade. It is in the description. It's a free adventure written by the staff writers. Check it out. They wrote it in honor
that-
of International Tabletop Day.
Staff writer Scott.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We got a handful of Scots now.
No, there is only one Scott. The one. Yeah, which he will be coming over here soon tonight. So we'll be playing Gamma World. Woohoo!
Oh, and I have a secondary channel that I help run for our game stuff. It's video gameplay with Nerdarchy. And do we put links for that in the description? But I've been putting stuff up on it, so go over and check it out.
We've had an overflow of links recently. So some things had to be cut out.
Yeah, so it's over like 100 subscribers. It's coming along.
Nice.
I just got 113, so
triple digits.
Yeah, and they're not all zeros, so it's good.
We'll be there in no
so it's
time.
Coming along.
Look out, PewDiePie. Nathan Nerdarchy's coming for you.
Yeah.
That's good. You're over there pretty regularly too, right?
Yeah, I put out like about 5 pieces of content a week now, so I'm getting in the groove.
Sure. I know Kyle goes over there and chats with you while you play.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I've had some difficulty with live streams lately, so I'm kind of putting them off until I can figure out what the problem is.
You broke it?
It's just the game stutters every once in a while. Like, this is no good. It worked. I don't think I can handle something about it. It's not jiving. I might need new streaming software.
I may have to actually
pay for it.
I just smack on the back of the head when it does it. It comes out all
Well,
right.
the computer doesn't care about that. Unless you hit.
I don't really have a child that stutters, and I don't.
Bob Smith wants to know in all caps, when do you live stream, Nate?
Oh, like I was just saying. Yes.
Right.
Currently, I am not live streaming because I found some kind of software issue that I got to work out.
You broke
when
it.
I do fix that problem, I will be live streaming on the games. But I do also answer all the comments, so feel free to comment on the video I've already.
Do you have a set time, like when you were live streaming, where you kind of like, did you have a slot?
Yeah, I was doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday after the 12 o'clock live stream. On the Nerdarchy channel. So I was doing it right after.
Yeah, so if that hour of Nerdarchy wasn't enough where you could just go right over to the channel afterwards and be like
play silly games and stuff.
Yeah. And just like have your head explode with Nerdarchy.
Yeah, I'm doing some Space Engineers, Planet Nomads, Sword Coast Legends, and want to get back into Tides of Numenera. Yeah.
Our Wood says we should play some Overwatch.
I'm interested in playing Overwatch, but I do not own it. So that is one of the things stopping me from that.
So Nate's saying send it to him.
Well, I will play.
Yeah, or send it to Nate and he'll play it for you all the time.
Yeah, I would like to definitely play some Overwatch
though. It looks phenomenal. Although I don't like that perspective. I don't like the first person perspective. I end up in a corner bumping into walls. Like, this game isn't very fun, guys, and I like can't get out the corner. I'm just old. I know. I can't help it.
So it seems like we have some new faces, and we even have some questions about whether we do this each Saturday. So, I mean, like, if you guys want to give them the quick schedule rundown, I'm sure they appreciate it.
2 o'clock Saturdays, we do this live chat with all of us, and intern Kyle when he can make it, which is here most of the time.
And Monday through Friday, we do a new.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, we do 12 o'clock, and we try and bring in different guests from the industry or adjacent to the industry. And if we get stuck, we'll talk to you about whatever we want to talk about for the most part. But we've been really fortunate with getting guests. And we're on the East Coast, so it's 12 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I was just thinking we might as well just keep this time and keep it consistent, so they don't have to guess. Like, I try and send it out on, the links out on Facebook and Twitter, but sometimes people don't get them.
Well, every once in a while, something's going to come up, and we're just not going to be able to make this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. We're just going to have to bend reality to make sure we can make this time.
April 29th is going to be a bit of an issue, so.
There's nothing important going on there. What's more important than the Nerdarchy fans? Tell me.
I had a thing with my children that day.
Come on, they're not more important than Nerdarchy fans.
You just come in and hop down here and say hi.
That'll be funny. Like, the party will be going on, and we'll do it down here, and it'll be.
Yeah. It'll sound like we're at a convention.
Yeah, but of Munchkins in Oz.
With a dozen 8 and 9-year-olds running around.
What was that noise?
They're doing
the army.
We're just doing Arma.
Yeah, pretty much. That's fine. What date is that? The 20.
2 weeks. April 29th.
Yeah. So what time are we going to do the live chat?
I don't know.
We should probably figure that out.
Party is 2 to 5. So we did it at noon that day.
We should probably do it at noon.
We should do it.
And we should probably tell people
right
ahead
in the
of time.
center. We should do it right in the center of the party.
3
It'll be
o'clock.
better that way.
3 o'clock before.
You'll have like a swarm of. Can we dress the kids as kobolds?
You
It's
make
gonna
the
be like
costumes.
wizards and stuff, right?
Well, it is a Harry Potter themed party. So
Yes. We'll have wands.
Dave's supposed to be Hagrid, and I think I was supposed to be Albus Dumbledore and whatnot. So
That's the rumor.
Yeah, so we can go for noon for that day then? The 29th? April 29th? Okay, that's the one that's different.
Yeah, that'll be going different. It's gonna happen,
So,
guys. Yeah.
We'll try and announce it
Just
as
blame
soon as-
just blame Ted's kids.
As far
That's what
ahead
I'm doing.
as we can, we should probably announce
Blame
it.
me.
So
it's my fault.
fortunately in 2 weeks we know that that's gonna happen.
No, I like to blame people that are littler than me. So with that, guys, I think Kyle's giving us the bat signal. You know what that means. Yeah, he's taking Ted's job. Ted's like, I used to have to be the jerk and rain these things out. Now we get to blame Kyle. Happy times. But guys, until next time,
Stay nerdy.